Darkness. Pain. The cold sting of metal against bare skin. The air is thick with the stench of blood, sweat, and decay. Chains clink as Vela forces herself upright, ignoring the deep ache in her ribs. The ZYRF were once feared warriors, but now they are nothing. At least, that's what the Varkesh have made them believe. A guttural roar shakes the ground as the gates to the pit slide open. Another fight. Another spectacle for the amusement of her captors. The crowd above jeers. Their voice is a cacophony of hunger for violence. A beast lumbers forward. A cybernetic hound, eyes glowing red, claws slick with the blood of the last fighter it tore apart. Vela has no weapon, no armor, just her instincts, sharpened by years of survival. The beast lunges, and she rolls aside, the impact of its claws sending dust into the air. Pain is irrelevant. Fear is irrelevant. She grips a shard of broken bone from the arena floor and drives it into the creature's throat. It thrashes, metallic screeches mingling with the crowd's roar, before collapsing in a heap. The silence that follows is brief. A Varkesh overseer steps forward, slow claps echoing. Disappointing, he sneers. A true warrior would have given us a better show. She expects the finishing blow. A plasma lash, maybe, but instead, they turn their backs, laughing as they leave her in the dirt like waste. This is what she is to them. Less than an animal. Less than nothing. She lies there, staring at the sky, a sky that has never belonged to her. And then a voice. She's still breathing. Footsteps. Heavy boots. Human. Vela forces herself up, expecting another fight. But the man crouching beside her isn't a slaver. He's different. Scarred but not cruel. Eyes sharp but not hollow. He studies her, a flicker of something unreadable in his gaze. How much, he asks. The Varkesh scoff. That? Worthless. But if you want a broken toy, make an offer. The human, Ethan they call him, doesn't hesitate. Credits exchange hands. She is lifted to her feet, unshackled, but she doesn't move. The overseer smirks. She won't follow. She doesn't know how to be anything but a slave. Ethan looks at her, not with pity, but with expectation. That true? For the first time in her life, Vela makes a choice. She follows. The hum of the ship is different from the sterile cold of the Varkesh compounds. Warmer, alive. Vela sits on the medbay table, rigid, watching as the human, Ethan, patches a wound she's long since learned to ignore. The sting of antiseptic is foreign, but not as much as a quiet. No commands, no beatings, just silence. She doesn't trust it. A tray is set in front of her. Food, real food, not the nutrient paste of Varkesh threw to their slaves like scraps. She doesn't touch it. Ethan doesn't force her. He just leans back, arms crossed, studying her like she's a puzzle he's trying to solve. You got a name? She doesn't answer. ZYRF don't usually go down without a fight. But you. He tilts his head. You're waiting for something. What? She clenches her jaw. Waiting for the trick, the trap, the moment the kindness ends and the real game begins. That's how it always works. But days pass, and it doesn't. She is given quarters, space, autonomy. The first time she hesitates at a door, expecting a shock collar's punishment, Ethan sighs. You can go where you want. You're not a prisoner. The words don't make sense. She isn't a prisoner, but she isn't free. She doesn't know how to be. Ethan doesn't push, but he doesn't leave her alone either. He teaches the layout of the ship, basic controls, weapons, strategy, not just how to kill, but how to think. ZYRF were trained to fight, not to decide. He makes her decide. What's the next move? He asks after a training session. She doesn't answer. You tell me, he insists. A test. But there is no punishment for failure. No beatings. Just another lesson. A different approach. He isn't breaking her down. He's building something. She doesn't understand it, but she doesn't hate it. One night, she asks, why? Ethan doesn't look up from the datapad he's working on. Why what? Why did you buy me? He exhales, setting the pad down. Because I saw something they didn't. She waits for more. He doesn't elaborate, doesn't try to convince her, just lets the words settle. And for the first time, she wonders, what did he see? What does he know about her that she doesn't? The first attack comes without warning. A proximity alert blares through the ship, and before Ethan can react, the hull shudders from the impact of enemy fire. Vela moves without thinking, instincts honed by years of forced combat. Ethan barks orders, but she's already at the weapons console, scanning the battlefield. A Varkesh hunter squad. Small, fast, lethal. They aren't here for a fight. They're here to capture, to reclaim what they think still belongs to them. She grips the controls, pulls steady. The targeting system locks onto the nearest ship. She hesitates, not out of fear, but choice. For the first time, she isn't fighting because she was ordered to. She's fighting because she wants to. Her fingers tighten around the trigger. A missile streaks through the void, finding its mark. One down. Ethan glances at her, a flicker of something unreadable in his gaze. Approval. The Varkesh press forward, forcing them into close combat. Ethan takes the helm, maneuvering through the chaos, while Vela moves to the boarding hatch, pulse rifle in hand. The enemy latches onto their hull, cutting their way in. The ship rocks as they breach, and then it's close-quarters combat. Blades flash. Plasma burns the air. Vela doesn't hesitate. She moves like a storm, precise and relentless. A Varkesh warrior lunges. She dodges, twisting his own momentum against him, snapping his arm before driving a blade into his throat. Another charges. She catches his wrist, rips the weapon from his grip, and fires point-blank. Then, silence. The last body hits the floor. Ethan wipes blood from his brow, breathing hard. Hell of a first fight, he mutters. Vela stares at the bodies, at the weapon in her hand, at the choice she made. Something settles in her chest. Solid, real. This is different. This is hers. The moment doesn't last. Ethan stumbles, clutching his side. Blood seeps through his jacket. The sight sparks something cold and sharp inside her. Not fear, not panic. Rage. She doesn't think. She acts. Gets him to the med bay. Hands moving with a precision drilled into her through years of survival. When he tries to wave her off, she glares. Quiet, he smirks but obeys. Later, when the ship is quiet again, she sits by his side. They won't stop. I know, Ethan says. She meets his gaze. Then we don't run. He studies her, then nods. What are you thinking? She exhales. The answer is clear. We take the fight to them The Varkesh's assault explodes into chaos. The vessel shudders under heavy fire, while alarms ring out in a relentless cacophony. Amid the tumult, Vela moves with deliberate, steady purpose, her every step echoing the transformation that has redefined her life. The enemy forces, fueled by blind rage and a long-held belief in their absolute dominance, surge forward. But in the heart of the melee, Vela stands resolute, her focus narrowed to the singular goal of ending this tyranny. Each pull of the trigger, every precise maneuver she executes, shatters the oppressive hold the Varkesh have maintained for so long. Her actions are not driven by the urge to kill for its own sake, but by a conviction that every strike is a reclamation of her dignity and that of her people. Ethan, fighting through his own injuries, barks commands with a voice that blends urgency and quiet determination. Even as his strength wanes, his resolve bolsters those around him. Vela, drawing upon both her innate warrior instincts and the new tactics Ethan has taught her, moves to intercept the boarding party. With a cold clarity that leaves no room for hesitation, she confronts the invaders head-on. Each clash of energy and metal is a declaration that she is no longer the broken remnant of a conquered people, but a leader forged in the crucible of oppression and rebirth. In the midst of the fray, every enemy fallen serves as a testament to her metamorphosis. A Varkesh soldier lunges with a plasma blade. Vela parries his thrust and counters with a precise strike, sending him sprawling. She does not pause to relish the victory. Instead, she presses forward with unwavering determination. The coordinated chaos around her blurs into a singular, focused mission. There is no room for the fear and resignation of her past. Now, each motion is driven by the conviction that freedom is worth any sacrifice and that the spark of rebellion, once ignited, cannot be easily extinguished. The turning point comes as Vela faces the embodiment of everything she has fought against, the Varkesh warlord. In that charged moment, as their eyes meet, the air seems to still. The warlord exudes a confidence born of cruelty and unchallenged power. Yet in Vela's unyielding gaze lies the promise of a future unbound by the chains of oppression. For a split second, the weight of her former life presses in on her, urging retribution, vengeance for every hardship endured. But as memories of relentless brutality mingle with the lessons of compassion and strength taught by Ethan, she finds herself choosing a higher path. Her grip tightens on her weapon, not to deliver a fatal blow in blind rage, but to disarm him and to embody the justice that has been denied to so many. Without a word, her action speaks volumes, a decisive, controlled move that strips the warlord of his power in that instant. The enemy's fury gives way to stunned silence as she steps back, holding him at bay with an unwavering calm. This act is not the triumph of vengeance, but the birth of true leadership, a commitment to let justice, not blind retribution, define the future. The warlord, now powerless, is left to face the consequences of his actions in a system where even tyrants must answer for their crimes. As the remaining Varkesh forces begin to falter, a tide turns swiftly. The crew, inspired by the resolute courage of Vela and the steadfast guidance of Ethan, rallies to secure their battered vessel. Their unity, once a flicker of hope in the oppressive dark, now burns as a bright beacon. Amid the scattered remnants of battle, the spirit of rebellion solidifies into something tangible and enduring. Every fallen enemy, every saved comrade, reinforces the belief that the human heart, with its capacity for both compassion and strength, is the most formidable weapon of all. In the aftermath, as silence replaces the tumult and the injured begin to receive aid, Vela finds herself standing amidst the debris of a shattered tyranny. The reality of what they have accomplished settles over her like a mantle, a mixture of exhaustion, sorrow for what was lost, and a fierce hope for what lies ahead. The Varkesh forces, once symbols of absolute oppression, now lie defeated, their remnants scattered and powerless. In their place rises a new order, one defined not by fear, but by the courage to embrace change and the strength to build a future of fairness. Ethan's eyes, reflecting both the pain of his injuries and the hope for what is to come, meet hers. No words are needed to express the unspoken truth. This victory is but the beginning. The ship, still trembling from the echoes of conflict, now hums with the quiet promise of recovery and renewal. Vela, whose journey from subjugation to empowerment has been hard-won, feels a profound shift in her heart. The chains that once bound her have been shattered by her own hands and by the belief instilled in her by the human spirit. A spirit that understands that true strength lies not in domination, but in the relentless pursuit of justice and the capacity to rise after every fall. Her gaze drifts to the distant stars, each a silent witness to the birth of a new era. The path forward is uncertain, riddled with challenges yet illuminated by the promise of freedom. Vela knows that the struggle for lasting peace and dignity is far from over, but in that moment, as she stands shoulder to shoulder with those who have risked everything for a better tomorrow, she feels an unbreakable resolve. Every scar, every memory of oppression, transforms into a reminder of why this fight matters. It is a fight not just for survival, but for the right to choose to love and to live without fear. Her voice, steady and imbued with the weight of her newfound authority, breaks the silence. I am no longer defined by what was done to me, she declares with quiet strength. I define my own future, and I will lead us into a dawn where hope reigns over tyranny. Her words resonate, stirring the hearts of all who listen. In that declaration, the promise of transformation is etched into the very fabric of their collective destiny. The struggle ahead may be arduous, and the shadows of the past may linger long in the corners of memory. Yet now, armed with the lessons of suffering and the power of choice, Vela and her allies move forward with a determination that cannot be quelled. Their victory over the Varkesh is a powerful statement to all who have suffered, that every individual, no matter how broken, holds within them the potential to rise and to rebuild. Together, they stand as a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit, a spirit that refuses to be diminished by cruelty, that finds courage and compassion, and that will forever proclaim, in every defiant heartbeat, the truth that freedom can be earned. As the final remnants of the enemy are cleared away, and the promise of a new beginning settles, like a soft glow over the recovering vessel, Vela turns once more to Ethan, her eyes alight with unwavering resolve. "This is just the start," she murmurs, her voice both a vow and an invitation to all those willing to walk the path of redemption. In that moment, amidst the scars of battle and the quiet determination of a future reclaimed, a new legacy is born, one where every life, every choice, matters in the unyielding march toward a horizon of hope and justice.